guitar scream. We're talking wrestling, living the dream. From Tokyo to London, across the globe, respecting the craft, we're in the know. No gimmicks or fakes, just pure passion and skill. The best talents from every wrestling hill. We dive deep into the stories behind the ring. Respecting the craft, making the fans sing. Respect the craft, making the fans sing. Respect the craft, respect the fight. We bring the best, we can't hide.
And we are live. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of Respect the Craft. This is episode number 310. And this has been one I want to make happen for a while, as we are joined by the world breaker, Brick Savage. What's going on, Brick? Good afternoon.
What's up, man? What's up, man? Just had a busy weekend like usual. Trying to relax. I know it's Tuesday, but it feels like I miss all my Monday. I'm just not getting my week
I
started.
can imagine the schedule you have right now. It was one of those where I'm like, I hope we can make some time, because I just like even all the graphics I'm looking at here, because we have a lot that we're gonna jump into. That it's like, yeah, it doesn't look like you have a free weekend anytime soon.
No, I really haven't. I haven't had a free weekend in so long.
Yeah.
Even when I do, like I get like last minute, which I don't like last minute stuff, but
Yeah.
sometimes I need to fill in. I might be in the right spot, right town. Like, hey, we have a show this deal. Can you fill in? I'm in town, man. Sure thing.
It works out. It works out. But it's one of those where I always say it's like it's that good busy. It's one of those where it's like it just keeps rolling, keep going, and hey, that's what everyone wants there. But before we get into all that, before we start jumping into this crazy schedule here, I do have the first question to ask everyone that comes on. You heard the name of the podcast. So for you, when you hear the term the craft, what does that mean to you?
For me, man, I'm always perfecting my craft, and whatever I decide to like put my hands into, whether it be wrestling or powerlifting, the craft is something that's just the built of skill, the accumulation of knowledge, skill, and prowess that you built to develop that craft. Basically, what that means.
No, that works right there, which then brings me into this, because now I have to go into, for you, I feel like, again, it's one of those, for those that know you especially, it could be an easier question of what made you decide to step into the craft, being you are a second generation competitor here. For those that might not be too familiar, son of Bobby Too Bad. So it's there. But when it comes to that, what was it for you that made you finally decide to step in after years of doing your own thing, and even doing, like you said, the powerlifting and killing that game right there, and killing that craft, if you will? And you know what? Let's now step into the squared circle.
I've said this before, man. It really was kind of like an accident, because I had retired from powerlifting, and I wasn't gonna do any physical sports anymore. I've been doing that for years, since I can remember, even being a young kid, rolling around in a wrestling ring and stuff. And man, like I said, it was pretty much an accident, kind of like a happy accident. That's kind of how I get into these things. And I went to a training day with Damon and Bull up in Fort Worth, and James Randall and all this stuff. And man, they had known I'd wrestled, did some stuff before, but they didn't know like who my dad was or like the extent of it. So spent 3 hours knocking off ring wrestling. Like I said, it was bad, man. It was awful. I was forgetting how to do stuff, and just like it was bad. And then once I was getting the hang of it, I was like, oh yeah, cool. Now I remember this is fun. Let me see if I can do something with this.
Yeah.
So I actually started training and stuff a whole lot more, and watching more. I was already watching some wrestling here and there, but I wasn't like trying to develop my craft, as you could say. And I just started digging into it real hard. And man, the rest is history. It's been 2.5 years of just balls to the wall.
It's one of those where I was trying to remember exactly where was it that I first saw you, and I was thinking, was it an MPX show, or was it one of the Revolver shows that you were a part of? And I was trying to think, and I'm like, wait, yeah, you've been doing this, and it's like I said, the schedule is so crazy, but it's been a better part of maybe 2 years, 2.5 years.
Yeah, it's
Which
been about
is
2.5
insane with the
years, man.
schedule. Then
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
I was like, I could have sworn I was like, I feel like I've seen you for a lot longer. Than I'm like, wait, it's only been 2.5 years.
It feels like that because of how spread out I kind of just like my schedule
Yeah,
has progressively gotten heavier and heavier each year. And I didn't even start like the full year. I started March 2022,
yeah.
and I'd have like at least one show a week, and then it was 1 or 2 shows a week, and now I have like 2 to 3 shows a week. Sometimes I wrestle twice in the same day, twice in the same show. So it's just been all over the place.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how my whole game plan with leveraging my social media as well to get noticed by bigger people or more places is that I look so busy my first going that I was like, cool, I have to have this person on my show. Up until the point where I'm literally so busy, it's kind of hard to get me on a show now.
Yeah. No, I can imagine it's one of those, like I said, it's that
Um,
good busy, but at the same token that it's like, now how do we get them on? Like, how does this happen here?
that whole adage about fake it till you make it kind of
Yeah.
thing. And if you really kind of envision yourself being in that spot, you'll get there. That's an old adage I had from my college ball at Mary Hart Baylor, that they had this picture of Salem there on the wall, and you have to envision yourself getting into that finals, get into that deal, and being there, picturing yourself being there, and that's what you're working for. And I just had that image in my head that I had to be so busy and so in demand that I was just undeniable.
Gotcha.
And I birthed that from just that hard work and just literally putting in so much effort of just looking so busy to actually literally becoming so busy.
Yeah, like I said, I'm looking as I look, because I have the graphic we showed at the beginning, and then I'm looking, it's like, yeah, it just keeps going. Like so many shows that we're gonna touch on a little bit here. That it's like, yeah, this schedule, it's created, it's manifested, if you will, a
When I
a
finally
great
posted
schedule.
that actual schedule up, it was maybe like June. And I'd
Yeah,
already worked right from January to June up until then. That schedule's already a lot. I'd
yeah,
already done so much before then, before I even posted this. I was like, let me just post this deal up because people keep asking me about availability and like I don't have it. So
yeah. It's like,
this is where I'm gonna be at. There's a couple slots that are open, ask me for those. It just became so
yeah.
much. Like, hey, I can't do it. Nope, I'm in another show. Can't do it. No, I'm here. I'm over here. No, I'm over here. All right. So
That's no, that's why I even said, like, at the start of this, I was like, this is an episode I've wanted to make happen for a while, because I was like, the minute I saw you, and I want to say it was because of Matthew Palmer, because of MPX, that I saw at one of the shows, and I was like, oh, I got to get Brick on it. Like,
yeah,
there has to be a lot we can diverge into there, and I'm like, yeah, there's no way, like, there's no time, because I'm just like,
I know, bro.
so many graphics. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to bother Brick eventually.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and I
hey,
do podcasts all the time, man.
yeah.
If I can get them fit into my schedule, I'm always willing to do a
No,
podcast.
I appreciate
So
that. Again, I'm glad that we can finally set this up here.
yeah,
And like I said, it's just, but now when it comes to that though, when it comes to, again, now that schedule there, but comes into finally, after all these years, deciding to step into that, was the idea of ever like, you know what, I don't want to do the wrestling thing, I want to do my own thing? Was that the start? Like, was it first like, you know what, my dad did this, but I want to do my own thing, I don't want to just be the second generation wrestler here?
yeah. Because initially, I was trying to, take my way through football, and then the outlets that I was going to do, it just didn't pan out. I was a high caliber athlete,
Gotcha.
good at what I did, but I wasn't at the upper echelon where it could actually take you to go make you some money, right?
Okay.
To get you in that higher deal, right? Could I lay people out? Absolutely. Did I have the prowess of doing good football? Absolutely. But it wasn't at the top tier level that actually that 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 amount of that percent of the people that actually get there, like the NFL or even like high level arena football and all that stuff, that takes a high caliber athlete that people really do not grasp. I tried it, and even like being like I tried high caliber in college, like I wasn't that good Like you had to be that good to make it to that level. And I realized that, you know, my skill was great, but it was not that good in comparison to those people that could take it to that next level. Right. So I played in high school with, you know, Robert Griffey, you know, RG3, you know, those caliber of
Mhm.
athletes, right? He made it. He had that skill and he's not playing anymore. Like he was good enough to make it there. Like he's not even playing anymore. So like that kind of if that puts you in the perspective of like of things like I know dudes that have made it and been up there and been in the field, played some downs, and they don't play anymore. Like they just
Yeah,
made it up there. They got cut from the squad, and like they were fantastic athletes, and
gotcha.
they couldn't make it. It's like, oh, I'm gonna go try to do something else, see what
Okay.
other skills I got, and you know that just kind of kept leading me into other stuff. And the powerlifting thing was that was something that I had always been really great at was lifting weights very effectively, you could say.
I,
So the
I could
skill
only wonder if you were like not like the size doesn't tell us like Brick could probably lift some weight. Like
yeah,
just,
yeah. I had some pretty you know, ridiculous strength all my years playing football and stuff like that. And you know, I didn't really think anything of it until some random workout session. This woman I met, Booster from Hawaii, she had moved down to Texas and she was in powerlifting and she just kind of was just like in awe of how I was working out. And was just like, have you ever tried to do powerlifting? And I was like, nah, I didn't like being that strong. I just have to be. I didn't want to actually, you know, be that strong. That's not something I was into. I was trying to, you know, do bodybuilding, and she was like, maybe you should just give it a try and see if you're any good else. You know, that's a long story there, but you know, I was like, cool, I'll give it a shot. I'm not doing anything specific now to give it a shot. And, man, I was really fucking good at it. The first meet I had, I won my weight class and I won best lifter overall. I
ooh,
got
okay.
this giant plaque of Texas, right? So like, if that wasn't motivation enough to keep going, I
Yeah.
was like, shit, I'm kind of pretty decent at this, you know. So this next meet I did, same thing again, one overall best lifter and stuff. I was like, man, maybe I'm actually might, you know, try to take this pretty serious, and
Okay.
I did, and like, man, it was a wild ride for sure.
So it is one of those like I like to especially do that research and do the background on it. And I know again you were doing this, you were doing to that feat of crazy amount of weight to the point that unfortunately it gets to possibly a little too much of just constant reps with that amount of weight that gives the point of yeah, this might need to stop.
So I didn't feel like I had a limit
Yeah.
in lifting weights there because I was doing stuff and doing so fast that I was like, cool, as long as I keep this trajectory, there's nothing that's gonna stop me, except for getting hurt, and that's
Yeah.
the only thing that
It
stopped
was
me.
one of those where if it's up to you, you would have kept going, but
Yeah,
the body was like,
yeah,
"Hey, we can't catch up.
pretty
We're
much.
failing here."
Pretty much, it's kind of what
Yeah.
happened. I had a couple of things that just like you know freak things that happened that just derailed me, and it got to the point where instead of like keeping my trajectory up, I was rebuilding it back up, and then
Yeah.
rebuilding it back up, and it got to the point where just like, okay, this is enough. This is too hard on my body. It's not keeping up anymore. You know, you know, like I said, second major surgery, and I was just like, all right, cool, that's enough. The surgery recoveries, they take forever. That stuff's expensive. I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah. I can imagine because that is a again to have those and have a situation like that where again it's near death
Yeah,
as well that it's like yeah that is
yeah,
it's
yeah.
a scary situation.
That's
But
enough.
before we continue, I want to go to the comments. One
Please.
sec here. We got Luke Cameron asking, "What's the busiest stretch you've had?" I can imagine being date wise, just with the amount again
Uh,
schedule shows. I feel like currently you're on a crazy stretch.
man, you know, if we take it in two different parts, like the busiest stretch of weekend that I probably had
Yeah.
would be probably the trip I had to Mexico.
Hmm.
I went with the Baracho crew, Dmitry Alexandrov, Stud Stash, Avon Axel. Our Baracho crew went down there to NGX, and the drive on a bus first the drive to like Laredo to the bus station, cross the border, checkpoints, all that stuff. Just that driving part, that travel part alone was crazy. Get there, rest a little bit, straight to doing a show. Getting a little bit of sleep, busting straight back. I had a couple more shows after that that I had to do, and I had bus back. Get back in to Laredo, bus down over another like 3 hours to a different show after like a 6 hour bus ride. Do that show, then head back. Uh, 3 hours back to the town I was staying in, and then another few hours to another show the next day, do that show, then drive all the way back to Austin. That was probably one of my busier stretches.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a lot of work, but then I had a show I do Friday, a show I do Saturday, a show I do Sunday. But one of those deals I have 2 matches in one night, and then the next day it was 2 shows in one day. Opening a show, driving, a few hours to the next show, and then closing off that show. So those are the kind of stretches I have and been doing this year a lot of. But I mean, as far as like wrestling wise, I've been going from early January all the way till now at doing, multiple shows a weekend. I haven't had a break off. I'm doing at least one show at minimum. And like most of the time it's 3 shows every weekend.
Yeah.
And it's been like that. I think I'm at like 90 matches or something like that for as of like right now.
Which again is insane. With like I said, that's why I feel most people would think like I did, that it's like I feel like they've been wrestling for more than 2 years. That it's like as much as people are seeing you, that it's like, yeah, it's got to be more. And then it's like, wait, no, this is just a lot of, like you said, weekend stretches or just that. It's like, yeah, there's a lot.
I've got at least like 26 more matches left to go. I had at one point this weekend I had 24 matches to go, and now I've got 26 again. So like,
they keep coming. They keep coming. Yeah, we got Alexandra saying, "Yo, that's my homie, looking all official with those glasses." It's professional.
I know my eyesight's been crazy today.
We got Scraggy asking, "What's your favorite lift and favorite wrestling move?"
Ooh. My favorite lift's probably squats. I don't do those as much as I used to, but we're talking to the point like it being my literal favorite, where I eventually squatted like 1,003. Like that was probably like the most exciting workout that I ever had, was being able to do that. With some friends there, nobody else in the gym, and it's just like the crazy atmosphere that you created, just stacking on these plates over and over and over. And it was like, hey, I've never done this, so all right, guys, let's see what happens. And it was an easy deal. And I ended up stopping at 1,003 just because that was what we call like an RPE of like 9. So it wasn't like the most I could do. I just happened to throw on an extra like 20, 35 pounds and was like, cool, we're going to stop at 1,003 because that's what's on my schedule to do for today.
I like how it's the option of like, we're going to stop just because to make metric wise, but it's like, I probably could do more right now. It's like,
right. And that's how you want to feel when you get ready for meets and stuff like that. You want to stop at that point, like, cool, I could have done more, but I didn't. And that resistance helps you get, the maximum amount when you actually do a meet.
Well then,
favorite wrestling move. Oh man. Favorite wrestling move. Man, I know I've said probably different things, but I want to say Razor's Edge, but I know deep in my heart it's the Even Flow DDT. It's by far the coldest fucking move. Like, I love Jake the Snake's DDT, but Raven's DDT is probably the one that made me like fall in love with the finisher.
Yeah,
one that was just like too cold, the way it was just done. And I have a version that I was doing for a finisher, a guillotine choke, and then a DDT. But I don't do it very exactly right. So I choke people out, then I drop a DDT. Like,
well, it's like I feel like that is, if there's ever a more effective way of hitting a DDT, that it's like, you know what? Let's just lock you in right here, put you to sleep, and then now I'm gonna drop you on your head.
Yeah, that's one of those moves that I love. I love a solid DDT finish.
Gotcha.
because that is the top, the cream of the crop for me,
Yeah.
for sure. But there's a lot of moves I like, for sure, that are pretty damn devastating. Yeah.
Got you. We got Alexander saying, I'm glad they decided to wrestle. They are the best in the world. Which I want to get into that now, finally deciding, because again, after those insane injuries, then deciding, you know what, let's now do something that is still very physical when it comes to this. Now putting your body from one strenuous thing and just all that to then being like, you know what, let's now go through something that's very the feeling of car crashes multiple times and taking bumps and all that.
That won't be my first rodeo in car crashes, but I gotta say, like, on my body wise, it's probably the easiest thing I've done,
Gotcha.
for my body, because football was by far the most physical contact one, over and over and over, and those are car crashes happening every down. But powerlifting was up there, because I mean my joints and my spine were literally being compressed every week on end, because like my squats were crazy. So, and I do that at the start of the week, so my spine was just like getting crushed all the time, and getting out of bed was hard. But wrestling, as far as like I've had some weird shit happen to my body because of those previous sports,
Yeah.
not necessarily wrestling in and of itself.
Okay.
But I can recover from. That's why I'm doing so many wrestling shows. I can recover from a wrestling show a little bit more easier, even at this frequency, than I could doing a hard ass powerlifting program.
Gotcha.
That I have to take. Doing a powerlifting meet, I had to take an entire week off
Yeah.
and not do anything at all, and then barely start get back into it and stuff like that, and not even get to that high level of weightlifting for another 6 months and stuff like that. So wrestling, it definitely, I do some questionable things to my body, for sure.
No, it is one of those, again, it shows though, I guess it definitely has that convenience of, yes, it's strenuous, yes, that, but you're still able to do it again at this frequency that it's like,
Yeah,
we're here still. We're here doing, like you said,
right.
from January till now, the insanity of
Right.
all
So like there's different levels of matches I'll have, some will be a little harder than others. Some of those like really hard ones I probably couldn't do every week.
of course, yeah.
Some of them I've done like 3 days in a row. I'm like, all right, one more to go, then I'll be done for at least 5 days.
I can imagine right there. And of course, shout out, I guess Demo saying one of your favorites has to be his Sky High right there. Demo Diamond in the chat.
See, before Demo Diamond was alive, my first finisher was a Sky High. So Demo's been watching some Brick Savage tapes and was like, "Hey, yo, man, that move is cold. Let me start doing that." And I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. It's clean, and the guy's, like 6'4", 6'5", right? So long limbs. You get launched in the air and get dunked like a goddamn basketball. So
there you go. So I guess it's gonna be the hey, who gets to do the Sky High next week? It was just announced earlier today. Demo will also be at Wrestling Revolver. So as we get into that in a little bit, before we get last comment I'm gonna read, so we start getting into these shows. Kelly asking, do you have an evil twin?
I can't say or deny whether or not I have an evil twin. But sometimes there's a difference in the gear that gets worn. So Easter eggs.
Well, then there you go. You never. I guess. Luckily, they have chosen to not show up today. The evil twin might not be here, but yeah, we shall continue. We shall continue and start with the busy weekend that is coming up, as you'll be making your way to VIP this Friday here, as it will be in a singles match, Exodus Prime versus Brick Savage. That's been a little bit of it's been a lot on social media right now, from Exodus throwing out that he needed an opponent, and then the words of, will VIP let you show up on Friday?
Listen, man, it's no stranger. I do not like most people from VIP, especially Lou Gotti. Can't stand the motherfucker. But I think Exodus Prime is a great athlete, and we're no strangers to each other at this point. And the ego that me and Exodus both have are astronomical.
Yeah.
They're ridiculous. You can't tell one or the other who's gonna be the better wrestler because we'll both argue, top of the lungs.
Gotcha.
Who's gonna be better, and that's the shit I like because there's no quit in Exodus, and it's hard to put me down. Right, and it's complete chaos when that happens. And surprisingly enough, VIP. I guess the people have been having some demand of having Brick Savage over there, and fucking like I said, hell froze over, and it's happening. No one saw that coming at all. That's a crazy. I didn't see that coming either, and here we are. So, big debut, first one up, Exodus Prime. So we'll see if they let me come back after after the shitstorm I caused.
I can only imagine again. You haven't stepped in yet, and with the comment here, it's like, well, they will see what happens on Friday.
No stranger to not liking people over there and shit like that. So we'll see what happens.
Hey, it's gonna be an interesting. I saw not only are you on that card, you got the Notorious 187 Homicide on that card, you got Low Key on the card. Yeah,
Right.
it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, the card is wild.
It's gonna be an interesting venue.
Yeah.
So, like I said, that starts that weekend right there.
And I'm also NPX the next day, and man, a fight Tatum Manning.
Yep.
Ooh, look at that. That's wild. Man, first championship I got over there, Prospect Championship, and it's a hard working belt there that you have to get 4 consecutive wins to cash in. It's not a lazy man's Money in the Bank. You gotta, 4 wins consecutively and then cash in. And first up, Tatum fucking Manning, bruh, really? I never got to fight Tatum there, and we had a little tiff, for a while. I was antagonizing him. He was being a dick and a jackass to everybody. And he got what he got, and we never got to actually like tussle in and of itself. We were in a tag match. It was me and Matt Locke versus him and damn, I forgot his fucking name.
Someone in the comments, please.
I
If
just
you
call him
remember.
Big Chill, like fucking Big Chill. I can't remember
Or now Demo letting us know you're not cashing in on me and then just yawning. Wow,
Bro,
now he's
Demo,
winning.
you got so much shit to worry about other than me. You got 4 matches before you have to worry about me. So worry about staying the champ for 4 more fucking matches before you got to worry about me. Easy, fella, easy.
But no, that definitely again the deck is stacked high for you right there in MPX, and what a first round right there. But like I said, that's with this weekend right here, and then we move on to the Insanity the following weekend, which is one of those matches you were saying that maybe can't do many of these back to back, which is a Haas fight next Friday. That is going to be the Wrestling Revolver next Saturday. My apologies. The Wrestling Revolver makes their way to Texas with Epic over Texas there, and someone you're not a stranger to either, though. You've gone in there with Moose before, but it's one of those where again it's some time after different Brick Savage that's stepping in there, a different Moose that's stepping in there.
Right.
Yeah, this is gonna be a fight.
Man, the first time I wrestled Moose, that was a big fucking surprise. They dropped that on me, and I was like, "Oh shit, okay, all right, cool." I held my own in there with Moose, but I realized that Moose was on a different level than I was for sure. And I just fought BK too, like maybe a week or 2 before that, and was like, "Cool, I keep up with BK, hell yeah, fucking yeah, I'm ready to go to that next level." And I fought Moose. I was like, "Oh shit." All right, maybe I'm not. And that having that, different skill level, being able to kind of realize I've got a ways to go. And he even said that, once I figure this shit out and stuff like that, I'm gonna make it, big and all this stuff. And that was a crazy thing. He just kind of said that on the mic after the match. I'll never forget it. I think they have it posted on TWC's match deal after the match, and I went immediately straight to the drawing boards. Of like, okay, cool. How do I start doing shit on a different level? And I came up with the first thing I came up with was my own fucking like corner combo speed run thing, this big splash, the triple splash thing I do, and I do dome in the middle, and then I hit them with a big splash when they run into me. That Choctaw Bingo is what I call that. If you ever look up what that is, it's like basically like the methamphetamine trade between like Texas and Oklahoma.
Gotcha.
People are all just like hyped up on drugs and shit all the time, right? It's because it's crazy. I'm just like ping pong.
Yeah, the rapid
back and
rapid
forth.
motion.
You're kind of on the edge of your seat while it's happening, and it's going by so fast, and all of a sudden, boom, and it's over. And it's like, what the fuck was that? That was the first thing I came up with. I was like, man, I mean, what can I do is like crazy, and like that was the first thing, and kind of it really helped me start to evolve my moveset and how I like kind of go and transition into things and shit like that. So that was a wild moment, wild realization for sure.
Oh, that's perfect right there. Again, now to be able to do this one more time here, that Hoss fight for Revolver. This is one of those that's been almost those true big name matches right here to see you two square off that Hoss fight. Again, Revolver making it big here in Texas. Again, with the powers that be at Revolver and MPX, this is one that, yeah, people are going to be watching. Make sure you guys are checking it out next Saturday. But then after that Hoss fight, that's Sunday. Then you're going here to defend those for the Twin Dragon Connection Championships right there.
Yeah. I gotta say, I also appreciate that every time Revolver's in town, they have me in a Hoss fight. Like I'm the gold standard of Hoss fights here, especially in Texas. Right. Setting the standard there. So I appreciate that. And then moving on to, defending that first title defense of those Twin Dragon Connection Championships with Dimitri is going to be wild. Because we already work really well together, in and of itself. But as a tag team, there's a level of like understanding and a nonverbal communication that we can get through with destroying people and just be on the same page. Just because we're into the same style of wrestling and some really gritty, good like all Japan type shit, and the fact that it's easy for us to kind of like melt into combos of like just destroying people and coming up with like heinous ways to like hurt people, and like we're both just gonna agree like, cool, yeah, that seems like it's gonna be a hard time for somebody. All right, let's do that.
I feel bad for anyone now that steps here. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think about the most. I already think of the most heinous shit to do to people on my own.
So imagine, that too.
The St. Petersburg, that psychopath there. He's on a crazy different level when it comes to hurting people too. So it's like, all right, let's throw those two psychos together and see what happens.
Hey, sometimes that is how the best creation. Just let's see what happens here. Now you both are holding those championships right there. We'll see who's going to be able to step up. Will it do again right there? We'll see. We shall see. But before we continue here, Alexandra wants to ask them about the Death in the Family show. Okay.
I'm not in the term. Death matches aren't my thing. I can participate in them and hold my own in there. I'm a whole ass weapon in and of itself. So that's for somebody else, right? That whole tournament, that's for somebody else, and that's cool. But as far as that show goes, having something that is also extremely violent, you got to have me in it in some form or fashion. And the fact that I got Sawyer Wreck, who is a deathmatch goddess, if you will, somebody who is out of her goddamn mind.
Yeah.
Right? And is willing to put her body on the line and do whatever it takes to win, is a match that to me is super palatable. Like, damn, somebody who is extremely violent on both sides of the coin and being able to, hold their own on, both of us doing the same type of deal in our own prospective paths and stuff, and that course is gonna be wild. That whole match is gonna be wild. It's a street fight at that, so
it's
that whole arena is about to be a goddamn weapon, and it's gonna be a wild time for sure. So Bracho and Aspire came together to create a company, Death in the Family, and that We Will Show You the Devil show is right up my alley. So you just expect to see some crazy shit and a lot of blood.
well then. Again, for those that attend, warning right there. This is definitely not the. Maybe don't bring the kids to this one. This might be a little too gritty for the children.
Don't bring your kids to a Brick Savage show sometimes. Shit just happens. They're just like, oh wow, that's terrible. That's a terrible thing for kids. And I don't apologize for that at all. That's
Hey,
a warning
there you go. But as we continue here, the last date we have here so far announced will be in November, all the way in November, right there, right before Thanksgiving, as you're making your way back for Gangsters Eat Alone. But you might not be alone, because for those that have been keeping up with things, at the last event, you had some friends.
I did.
You had some friends in Stud, and it just tell us again this situation here with Stud, with Aaron, with yourself. What is going on here for those that are watching at home?
Man, it's really as simple as the encompassing violent nature that I am. All that how I started being one of the most dangerous, unpredictable, some might say unsafe pro wrestlers out there. Is something that I was definitely in the forefront of, like, headway. Every time I'd go somewhere, people would avoid me. People wouldn't talk to me. It'd be hard to get some matches sometimes because people are they're so worried about what the fuck's gonna happen, what I'm gonna do.
Gotcha.
Right. And in some form or fashion, I kind of got away from being that extremely violent person and more people pleasing, and kind of being geared towards the fans and the audience, and catering to them a lot. And it really felt like I was losing the path that I was on. So Mercer had been retired, and he kind of just talked to me a little bit after our match. We kind of kept in contact. That first Bracho Pro show, we kind of kept in contact. He saw that violent nature I had, and he also saw it kind of start to dissipate, away from that path I was on. And we had quite an extensive talk about some things, and I've wrestled Stud Stash on multiple occasions, and there was something that seeing a world championship being put on the line, the amount of grit that one can, like, dish out when there's a worthy prize on the line, the amount and extent people are willing to go to hurt people, that I decided to do some recruiting, and that's basically what's kind of happening around that. There's just a collective amount of thought process happening to gather some violent people and return them back to the way they were, the way that they were intended to be. Very simple, very violent natured. No extras, no thought process of complications. It's very simple, violent nature, and that collective has grown into a wild storm in multiple places.
Got you. Yeah, that is. I can't say I don't like it. I can't say I don't like it, because that's Stay tuned, folks. Stay tuned. What that can bring, and what bodies will be laying after meeting that violent nature right there. But we got Chris saying brilliant right there. There you go. Yeah, it's a nice
masterpiece of a storm happening, for sure. Like I said, this is happening over multiple promotions that kind of was just like, I would say that there are places that I've come in and just completely destroyed things, and, like, rearranged the pecking order of things, and it's opened the doors for other evil to kind of just, more or less fall into place, whether it be, people around me or people that are from different places. It just opened a door for things. And Baracho, like I said, I got away from where I was at.
Gotcha.
Once that title was on the line, I reverted back to where I needed to do what I needed to get things done, and I really had to hammer that home. That show at Apocalypto, and things unfolded at Texas Wrestling Cartel. With me and Pac. Pac, caught me on a bad day, and since that moment there, it's like, hey, yeah, I've really gone away from where I was supposed to be at, and just devolving back to where I was. So it spilled over in Texas Wrestling Cartel. It inevitably spilled over into United 210, that is right down the road there and stuff like that. Stud Stash's home place, or Dave's home place. Stud Stash is getting a little, wary on ends with trying to pull him out of, that hole he's in.
Gotcha.
So, and there's other places, Texas Wrestling Association, that just happens to be one. We're all three on the same show. That's kind of wild. I don't know what's gonna happen there.
Yeah, that is something where I guess you're in the area.
Yeah, Anarchy Ash's birthday bash, Texas Wrestling Association. I slapped the shit out of Anarchy Ash at Matt Lopez. Absolutely slapped the shit out of them. Not saying they completely deserved it, but they got in the ring, so they deserved it. So I slapped the absolute shit out of Anarchy Ash. Corvus and Ricky, beat the shit out of them. I don't even know why they want me at this bash, but I got invited to the bash, high demand. Go figure. Next thing I know, Mercer got invited. And then after that, Stud Stash got invited. Oh, wow. I wonder how that shit works. But, not saying we're doing anything all together. It's just kind of weird that we're all three in that same spot.
You're all going to be in the same place. You never know what could happen. You never know. Nothing is being said there. So you never know. You never know. But as we continue here, I like to ask this question, and this is one especially still very young into the career, 2.5 years in. When it comes to that and the matches, insane list of matches you've had, if you could pick one that you say that defines your career so far, what would it be?
Damn, that defines my career?
So far.
Man, that's a wild question. Because I feel like every week my matches just continually get better, with the right opponents and stuff like that, different caliber stuff, different venues, different things. One that defines my career is really, really tough to say. Could be if it was early this year, it'd be the Necro Butcher match I had early this year.
Gotcha.
That was a kind of cultivation, accumulation of like everything from the previous year, starting this year off. Kind of wild was that one there. And then if you want to get like mid-year, one that kind of like really like set a different tone of emotion was me versus Dimitri at Inspire in a no DQ match. That one, I believe was like my, I want to say maybe my 150th match. I think it was 150th match. And besides like the wrestling that happened, there was quite a bit of story that unfolded that the emotions had been running high for several shows. And then that one was an accumulation of everything that me and Dimitri kind of had been kind of like just butting heads over.
Gotcha.
It's like kind of happening, and then just absolute magic towards the end of that match, where how much more violence can happen in this goddamn match right before it just it goes too far.
Yeah.
You know, and when it ended up in a double KO, which is exactly wild.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
like,
you know, and that's a a high key way to earn my respect is hanging in there and showing like a different style of grit. Because some people just like to survive a Brick Savage match. They just like to survive one. Very few of them actually fight
yeah.
fight in one. A lot of them just like kind of survive the match. A lot of them, like I said, barely survive the match, and then the very few actually kind of bring that fight to me, and I'm like, all right, yeah, you kind of got my respect on that one.
Gotcha.
He absolutely earned that for sure. So I'd probably pick that one over anything. Mid match, and then up until recently, I had a match with Stephen Wolf at New Texas.
Okay.
Not too long after that, and I'd say like those three were a high key progression
Gotcha.
because you get to see uh, the strength and the power and all that stuff, and like the thought process of just like being able to move the right way and then tell the right story and being able to showcase that how the type of level of a monster that I am. It's hard to like, it's just not one thing that puts me down. It has to be like a million fucking things and then the right concession of stuff to get, one over on me. And I'm still not dead. So it's like that, those three are really some pivotal points that I had because, Necro was one of the dudes that, trained me when I was younger.
Gotcha.
So, right. I finally get that match. That happens. Big, big ordeal for me. Then fighting, Dimitri, who ends up turning to be one of my best friends. Boom.
Right.
Then fighting Stephen Wolf, who happens to be one of my worst enemies. With that. So, him and Stephen Wolf and X's Prime are literally my worst enemies. Those are my two biggest rivals that I've had by far because those dudes are some people fucking night and day difference, right, of personalities and shit like that. And Stephen Wolf,
definitely, yeah.
literally the same type of person on a different coin. So,
Gotcha.
it's not surprising to be a rival with those two assholes. So I'm not even surprised at that. But that kind of chemistry when you have that type of heat with somebody, it makes for a crazy match that
No, yeah, that's what makes it a lot more interesting. And just again, it creates that magic in there and creates what we love about this craft. But no, that works. That works right there. But now, with that being said, we've talked about confirmed matches. We talked about those that you've had. What are, if you can name a few that you would want to get in there that you haven't had a chance with yet? It doesn't have to be the proverbial like dream match, but just opponents that it's like, I need to fight that person right there.
The main one is Jeff Cobb. That is the one everybody keeps asking about. That's the one everybody keeps talking about. There's people on my list that I feel like I'm eventually going to get at some point. So
Gotcha.
the Jeff Cobb one is like the elusive unicorn match that everybody wants, not including just myself. Everybody wants to see that. That's the
I could definitely see it. Like that is a Haas fight that needs to happen just because just trying to see both of you try to throw each other around is going to be very fun to see.
Yeah, that's the one that literally I get asked about constantly is the Jeff Cobb one. There's several other wrestlers that I'll shoot shit with and like, antagonize and stuff like that. Some people I want to have like return matches with, but that's the one that's on the top of the list. The next one will be Samoa Joe. That's the dream match.
Yeah,
the current wrestler who's alive type dream match. Right. So, I don't have super high hopes for that one, but never going to say never on that.
You never know. Luckily, thanks to things we've seen, those that might be all elite make their ways around. So you never know. You never know. Yeah. I know another one from, again, doing research, seeing stuff you've said. I know Chris Hero was one that you wanted to fight.
Yeah.
And that is still a possibility. He's been doing.
That one is definitely up there. That would be like the number third one. The number three.
He's been doing his thing. Shout out to West Coast Pro. You never know.
Not a fully active wrestler.
Yeah.
Right. But he's kind of there.
Yeah,
So
he keeps dipping his foot back and
right.
forth.
But
Like
that's a very elusive. Same with the Samoa Joe thing.
yeah,
Joe has no reason to come wrestle me whatsoever. He's just got put in a video game. This motherfucker sweet tooth and shit. He's working his way out of wrestling. You know, getting into stuff that's gonna make him money without actually having to wrestle.
yeah,
I don't blame him. He doesn't have any reason to, right? So like it's just kind of there for me to like, cool, that'd be a dream match. You
yeah.
know, Carol's dipping himself in there, and so it's like, cool, that'd be a cool little dream match. But you know, as like a for sure one that has the most possibility, it's Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb is the one. He's the active wrestler doing the thing. He's got the one where he's like, cool, hey, shoot me the info and stuff like that. I want to go work in the States. You know, that's the one that is a more likely, you know, possible match to happen. Those other two are like, man,
Yeah, it's
right time.
let's never say never. You never know. You never know what could happen. One that I believe you two have faced was just to see it again, different stages in both of your games, with Shane Taylor to do that one more.
Yeah, I've wrestled Shane on three different occasions now.
Yeah.
The first one, man, I whooped his ass for about like 15 fucking minutes. Shit you not. But he got one over on me for sure. The second time it was in a triple threat, and you know, it was definitely a back and forth. And then I had one where I was supposed to wrestle Lance Archer,
Okay.
but he couldn't make it, and they got Shane Taylor instead. Which, goddamn, I couldn't complain about that. But you know, and I've been watching on my tapes on Shane. You know, at that point, Shane had already knocked me cold at least 2 or 3 times. You know, so it was like, all right, I built up my own knockout power by that point. You know, dropped him, and I was like, cool, I got it. But you know, at the end of the day, you know, I mistimed some shit. He dropped me cold with that fucking right hand. Not even fucking surprised. You know, should have cut my head on a bigger swivel, and you know, that dude's a fucking monster.
Yeah.
That dude's a headlining leader of the business for sure. And I also want to shout out about how proactive he is about, you know, black talent and black wrestlers and stuff like that. So kudos to him. That dude, that's the man for sure.
No, definitely. That's one I was like, we definitely got to talk about that to see maybe that one more time. We've had Shane on here, a pleasure to talk to, and he's someone that, just seeing the growth as a performer, as a person alone, he's definitely he's doing his thing. He's doing his thing.
I'd absolutely wrestle Shane Taylor again. You know, that last one I fought him at MPX. He was getting ready to fight Samoa Joe. So as far as that concerned, you know, me helping him get ready to fight Samoa Joe, put him to the test. You know, being in the caliber of athlete to have him be like, fuck, I need to get ready for this fight with Joe, so I need to fight you. That puts me in a level that I'm like, cool, absolute respect. Cool, I'm gonna whoop your ass. I'll be getting ready for Samoa Joe. So, you know, those are the kind of things that, you know, it really kind of help test your, like, you know, your skill and your craft there for sure.
Got you. No, definitely. See, now what we need to put out there again for someone hopefully listening. We've had this happen before. Ring of Honor needs to make that call. Yeah, have Shane Taylor versus Brick Savage happen in a Ring of Honor ring, and then just Samoa Joe be like,
right.
I think we need to make this happen.
Right. Exactly.
We got Troy asking, ask them what their favorite snack cake is.
Usually anything that's cream filled. So at the best, be oatmeal cream pies are usually my favorite snack cakes. My favorite snack candy is peanut M&Ms, as most people know. Every fucking show, someone brings me a bucket load of peanut M&Ms. Usually, so I don't go beat up either their favorite person or themselves. So
sounds like a good trade. It sounds like a good trade just to make sure. Like, I will make sure if there's ever a show I'm calling that you are on, I'll make sure. Here's the M&Ms. Just stay away from the commentary desk, please.
That's what happens. Like, especially at United, they want me to fuck with the production crew, and you know, because I beat up, you know, staff and all that shit. So they bring me a giant bag of peanut M&Ms. Say, please do not touch the staff or the production crew. Thank you. And they did leave.
I will make sure if I'm ever calling a show you're on. Yep, here's the M&Ms. I'll get you a truckload if need be. Here you go. Here are all the M&Ms.
Nobody is safe. Fans aren't safe. Kids aren't safe. Commentary team's not safe. Refs aren't safe. I've dragged announcers to go announce my matches. Like, you're not working, but you're working right now. Grab that fucking mic and introduce me. Like, nobody's safe.
I get it. I get it. It is one where it's like, I'm glad this is over a program right now, just in case. I probably wouldn't have been safe, possibly.
That's it. So,
but as we start wrapping this up, Brick, because I don't want to take up too much more of your time here, I have to ask you the final question I ask everyone, and that is, for the world breaker, Brick Savage, what is your end goal?
My end goal, man, it's super simple. I want to make it to Japan, and I want there to be an action figure made of me. As far as like me making it bigger than WWE, making WrestleMania, that'd be great. That'd be great. I don't exactly see it in the cards, but if that happens, cool. The main goal for me is to make it to Japan and get an action figure made of me so I can give it to my goddamn kid. That's it. That is the main. I have a very simple fucking task at hand. Get big enough, make it some places, come back, go somewhere cool, get an action figure made. And then bam, there it is. Hey kid, Merry goddamn Christmas. Fucking right off into the sunset, be done.
That works again to see all that. And like I said, the trajectory you're on, two and a half, that feels like it's been a hell of a lot more. It's scary to think what's going to happen next, man. So it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for doing this with us and joining us. I want to remind everyone, if you haven't already, make sure you are following Brick on all of their social media there. That's going to be Brick Savage on X right there, at Brick Savage 7. Follow them on Instagram right there, World Breaker Savage. Also, if you want to get some merch, go to www.worldbreakersavage.com. Links to all of that will be in the description down below. Brick, thank you again so much. And everyone watching, as always, don't forget to be wise, be genuine, be real, be better people, respect the craft.
See y'all later. Thank you.
Thanks.